well as deliver on social protection programs and other public services such as healthcare and education. Your Excellency, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the essence of having a capital market in the Gambia encompasses the following. 1. Capital markets not only facilitate the mobilization of long-term savings and investment, but also assist in price discovery in the case of traded instruments and enhance disclosure through perfect information flows between economic agents. Furthermore, capital markets engender efficiency in resource allocation through the channeling of long-term investments into sectors where they are most needed. 2. Capital market development promotes economic growth. Capital markets are significant sources of financing for the corporate sector and play an important role in economic growth. Equity markets are of prime importance for economic development. More liquid stock markets, where it is less expensive to trade equities, reduce the disincentives to investing in long-duration projects, because investors can easily sell their ownership interest in the project if they need their savings before the project matures. Therefore, enhanced liquidity facilitates investment in long-run, high-return projects that boost productive growth. The third benefit of capital market is that due to the limited availability of debt-based financing for high-risk projects, access to equity financing also may spur innovation. Moreover, the fact that shareholders are residual claimants means they have a much stronger incentive to exert control over the investment decisions of a company than debt holders. Active investors, including institutional investors, may use their expertise to push for changes that could lead to enhanced performance and stock price growth. It is also important to note that stocks, unlike debts in many cases, are information sensitive, which leads to more information gathering incentives by outside investors than debt financing does. Another critical role of a capital market is to facilitate efficiency in the delivery of financial services through cost effectiveness and the promotion of transparency and accountability. Finally, capital markets create employment opportunities through the establishment of various types of market operators, such as fund management firms, discount houses, issuing houses, custodians, registrars, brokerage firms, legal services, financial analysts, and accountants, to name a few of the relevant professionals in the capital market. Cognizance of this, and in recognition of the fact that long-term investments are critical for infrastructural development, the Central Bank of the Gambia has initiated a project to establish a capital market in the Gambia. This followed the enactment of the Capital Market and Securities Act 2021 and the approval granted to the Central Bank of the Gambia by our oversight ministry to serve both as the Securities and Exchange Commission and to host the Exchange and Central Securities Depository on a temporal basis until when it can operate independently. This is not the first time for the central bank. We are known to serve as an incubating agency for institutions. We've done it recently, is the Financial Intelligence Unit. We are also about to separate with the insurance department in the central bank, which we intend to also give back to government with sponsorship for at least 2 years to establish the Insurance Commission in the Gambia. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Capital Market Project goes along with other reforms to upgrade and modernize the payment systems and financial infrastructure. Once completed, it is envisaged that this will not only provide a more efficient, secure, and reliable platform for financial transactions, but improve financial inclusion. The goal is to foster an environment that encourages economic diversification, instill a savings culture, and a job creation through efficient financial intermediation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to incentivize investments for the Gambia, a mission to showcase the Gambia, a mission to say to the world, the Gambia is open and ready for investment, a mission to promote growth and financial inclusion that ensures no one is left behind. I wish to seize this opportunity, Your Excellency, to recognize the Honorable Minister of Justice and staff, the Minister of Finance and staff, the National Assembly, the Solicitor General and team, and the government printer and his staff, as well as the board of the Central Bank of the Gambia, for their significant contribution towards the enactment of the Capital Market and Securities Act 2021. The Central Bank of the Gambia also hereby extends a hand of friendship and partnership to the entire public and private sector. We cannot do it alone without your generous support and active participation. It will be remiss of me to leave this podium without recognizing the following. Our dear consultant, Dr. Joe McKelwa, who has been guiding my team through this journey. The Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, ably represented by Mr. Mahmoud Mukhtar, Mr. Abin Bola Babalola, Deputy Director General, Market Surveillance and Investigation, NGX Regulation Limited, Ms. C. Eke, Head Market Operation and Information Technology, NASD OTA Securities Exchange, Mr. Osiji Carl Rudolph, Executive Officer of CSCS, Mr. Oluwoli Adiosun, FCS President and Chairman of Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, and Mr. Olumedi Lala, Executive Director, Climate Finance Solution, Climate Transition Limited, all from Broad Nigeria. A big thanks to all of you. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, To conclude, I wish to underscore the onerous task ahead, which must be met by a high level of commitment and firm resolve on the part of all stakeholders, but the future is still bright. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Indeed, as is indicated, we are on a journey. We have a mission. And
representative of the donor community, namely the IMF, the World Bank, the United Nations systems, ADB, etc., and the EU. The fourth estate, that's the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all of the protocols duly and respectively observed. I'm pleased to be here today to witness the launching of yet another critical milestone in the government of the Gambia's development agenda, which I dare say will be the start of a paradigm shift in the deepening of the financial and investment ecosystem of the country. Along the critical reforms currently being undertaken by our government is to strengthen public financial management, innovative financial instruments creation, and evidence has shown that countries cannot reach high level of socio-economic growth or prosperity without placing significant importance on the role of the financial market in the development agenda. Your Excellency, colleague ministers, ladies and gentlemen, as we are all aware, the Gambia's financial architecture has been limited since the independence of the country and has been unable to meet the financial and economic needs of the country for a sustained economic growth, poverty reduction, human and fiscal infrastructure development. Since independence, our financial architecture has been predominantly made up of insufficient, has the following features. One is the insufficient access to long-term capital, underdeveloped private sector sources of capital, and limited foreign direct investment, constrained by a small economy, low income, small population size, and these all pose significant risk and cost of doing business in the country. The government is critically aware of these issues that plague the current financial system and inhibits growth of our productive sectors. For instance, despite the existence of more than 13 commercial banks, the private sector lacks access to credit facilities, particularly from the medium and long term. Some historical data shows that less than 10% of the deposits is giving out as short-term, less than 3 years maximum credit, with exorbitant interest rates up to a margin of 20% and beyond. Hence, deepening the financial sector and expanding the financial intermediary in the form of a capital market can be beneficial to the Gambian economy because it will allow for greater pooling of domestic savings, better risk sharing, mobilization of foreign capital, and facilitate more effective allocation of resources to long-term productive investments. This is why His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Adama Barrow, we will be there to ensure confidence in the economy of the Gambia. This will be done through the development and application of a robust macroeconomic policy framework that is founded on fiscal discipline, sustained public debt management, and a fair, robust, and efficient tax system, public investment in critically underserved sectors and regions, and ensure that the vulnerable segments of society are not left behind through our social sector interventions. Additionally, my ministry, acting in concert with other stakeholders, institutions, as mandated by the Act, will be ready to respond in real time to both exogenous shocks as well as regional or geopolitical, financial and economic developments. In conclusion, therefore, what we are witnessing here today in the financial and economic evolution of their country is nothing short of a revolution. And to everyone here present and to the potential investors everywhere, please be informed that the Gambia is open for business in a new way that puts the investors and the private sector at the heart of the economic transformation agenda. Also be informed at the same time that my ministry and the entire government machinery as a whole is ready, willing, and will be able to do what it takes to address the systemic risk that the launch of the capital market may introduce. The launch of the capital market will unleash the private capital of the Gambia and the international community and reposition the country for an unprecedented economic transformation. I thank you for your kind attention.
The Honourable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs and other Honourable Ministers here present, the Governor of the Central Bank and your staff, the consultant, the Chairman and President of the Institute of Stockbrokers, the resident representative of the IMF and other diplomatic members of diplomatic and consular corps here present, the staff of the Central Bank and other staff of the Ministry of Finance and other government officials, the private sector, the press, all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Ladies and gentlemen, to put this occasion into perspective, let me state that in 2021, the National Assembly passed the Capital Market and Security Bill of 2021, which that is on behalf of His Excellency the President, assented to and signed into law. Thereafter, this historic event is an outcome of that development. It is an honor, therefore, to be with you to launch the Gambia Capital Market. The Capital Market and Security Act will serve as the principal regulatory document for the capital and securities market to ensure a dynamic, fair, transparent, and efficient system that supports economic development. In accordance with the Green Recovery Focused National Development Plan 2023 to 2027 and the Long-Term Development Vision to 2050, it is planned and expected that the capital market will be a vital pillar in providing the required funding through its diverse product offerings and financing mechanism. Ladies and gentlemen, a UNDP policy brief issued in June 2021 underscored the urgent need for the country to adopt financing mechanisms that will underpin and ensure the delivery of our National Development Plan, support pandemic recovery efforts, and reinforce the realization of the country's long-term climate vision. The launching of this capital market will no doubt offer an alternative investment platform with greater market access, diverse risk intermediation, and funding solutions for business and government. The market will assist in addressing the infrastructure challenges and could destabilize the country's long-term growth and development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a study published by the World Bank in December 2019 reported, and I quote, "a strong correlation between capital markets and economic growth," unquote. It went further to highlight the increased attention given to capital markets as a mechanism that can potentially help channel private sector funding to key strategic sectors of the economy. Consequently, the sectors that are expected to benefit from the capital markets include business cooperations, infrastructure investments, housing, small and medium enterprises, and climate change resilience projects. Such investments are made possible through the mobilization of funds from the surplus units of the economy to the deficit units, thus making capital available to the government and companies. This, in turn, creates employment opportunities and facilitates real sector growth. Ladies and gentlemen, with much reason, I believe that capital markets serve as an essential organized system for free flow of capital, raised through debt or equity. This would no doubt assist in the development of deep and liquid government bond markets, where mobilization of local resources for innovative financing could be made. Additionally, it is projected that this development in the financial sector will boost resilience, stimulate growth, transform the economy, and enhance domestic financial stability by providing new tools to raise funds and manage liquidity risk. With financial resilience and stability, the Gambia would be better positioned to implement policies that enhance job creation, infrastructure development, and access to basic services, thereby raising the living standards of our fellow citizens to decent and dignified levels. My government is uncompromisingly committed to creating the enabling environment for the financial sector to thrive. We have resolved as well to making the private sector an engine for growth, transformation, and job creation. I am confident that the capital market will ultimately create the right tools to achieve these goals. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I thank the Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia and the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs and their teams for their immense contributions towards the development of a capital market in the country. I acknowledge the enormous support of the Governor of the Central Bank and his team for accepting the responsibility of implementing the capital market project within the Central Bank as a temporary arrangement until its maturity into an independent institution. I also thank all those who, in one way or another, contributed to the development and launch of the Gambia capital market. Before concluding, I must reiterate my government's support of this gallant enterprise and recognize the various stakeholders who have made this day possible. We thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasure to declare the capital market of the Gambia launched. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.